also respect something else, but I'm not really sure about this happening. But a Huckleberry Finn reboot is coming, everybody. So, do we need this? So Taika Waititi, everybody. Taika Waititi is in negotiations right now to direct the new Huckleberry Finn movie. That's right. It's called James by Percival Everett, who wrote this latest book on it. It's an adaptation again. Of course, Taika is known for Jojo Rabbit to, the new Thor movies. He's been doing so much. We all know Taika from being an actor to director, just being an all-around comedian. And he's done a lot of fun movies in general. And Jojo Rabbit, I think, was a good interpretation of a historical event that he made his own spin on, brought some comedy to. I think it worked. People gave a lot of praise. But now he's going to be the person behind the new Huckleberry Finn. Amblin Partners are coming involved with this too. We got Spielberg attached to this, the second producer. And the book has been a big hit right now that's been written. But James watches. It's a new adaptation. So James, if it goes around and enslaved, Jim overhears that he is about to be sold to a man in New Orleans, meaning he'll potentially be separated from his wife, his daughter forever, and subsequently he decides to hide on a nearby Jackson Island until he can formulate a plan. But meanwhile, Huck Finn has faked his own death to escape the violent father and recently returned to town, and they begin a dangerous journey together, transcending down this river on a raft, Mississippi River, toward the elusive and too often unreliable promise of the free states and beyond. Again, James is called Taika Waititi. I think that he has brought a lot of great things to historical events. Again, Jojo Rabbit. But again, Huckleberry Finn is one of those things that I think it's just too dated. I'm like, yeah, maybe people love it, but there's no... I didn't really care for this there. I mean, people are like, oh, it's a historical thing, and it could do so great, but I never really cared for it from the get-go. I think it does have a good premise of like bringing people together, Yeah, it brings people together, which I think is great. But I mean...
like Huckleberry Finn?
Seeing the angle it's coming at with Jim being the main character, I think is really actually very interesting. I don't know how they're going to get around that because, like Queen's mentioning here, the character's full name is Jim. And that's going to be hard to get around.
It really will be, but they're going to try to find a way probably, they're going to try and make this work.
I think telling the story from his point of view would be interesting. I wasn't here for it when I just thought it was another Huck Finn retelling. I don't give a shit about this little white kid.
Right? Or Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood was a cutie. Like, good for him.
Look, that was a good movie.
We don't need to make another one.
I like that movie.
We can just leave it at that movie. We don't need another one about him.
That's what I thought too. But do you think that Taika Waititi is going to bring, like, again, it is a twist, spin on it. Do you think that he will bring something different to this?
And I'm really interested. The Spielberg was in that picture. Does he have anything to do with this, or was he? Yep,
he's executive producing it too. His company Amblin Films behind it, honestly, so they're doing it as well.
Spielberg, I trust him. He can do anything. He's the greatest cinematic mind of our time. Truly. Christopher Nolan can go fuck himself.
I love Nolan. Leave Nolan alone.
Leave Nolan alone. I won't. I will find his Peloton class and I will harass him.
Leave Nolan alone. Leave him alone.
He ain't no Spielberg or Waititi. I love Taika Waititi. I think the films that he's made have been really entertaining, and I think that he can really bring a really interesting point of view to this. He is native Australian or New Zealand. I'm sorry, he's native New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah.
So he does have a point of view that a white director wouldn't necessarily have.
Yeah,
so I think it'll be interesting.
And Spielberg, maybe he entrusts him with this. Again, I think that Jojo Rabbit probably is a reason why he was thought about for this as well. Because again, it's like twisting the events a little bit, bringing some comedy in, changing the story a little bit, changing the narrative, which you'll be doing with this as well. What do you think, Lexi? Are you more on board now? Are you hearing the premise of it? Do you think that might be a better thing like Rachel's saying? Or are you still saying to yourself, like, this is a dated piece, we've already had a lot of issues with the writing where it was, just leave it in the past?
I was already on board with this when you told me they were doing it. I like Huck Finn. I like Tom Sawyer. I've always been a fan. Like, even since I was a kid. I don't know if it was the the little white boy in me, but I was always into these books. I'll tell you what. Like seriously, I've always liked it. I've liked the books. I like the movies. I've seen like every single movie. I really like the one with Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one. That was the one with the hot boy. That was the hot boy version for like
JTT.
If you like your '90s hot boys. That was who was the other one that was with him? That was another hot boy. That was like the real '90s hot boy one. Huck and Finn. That was the name of the movie. I know that one, but. And I know Disney's had their hands all over, like, Tom Sawyer.
I don't think Disney has anything to do with this.
Which I'm surprised that they don't.
It might be Amblin.
Especially
it's Amblin.
I'm surprised that Disney didn't, especially with their relationship with him, Tycho.
Yeah.
So
you would think so.
Yeah.
Maybe they're so mad about Thor.
With them anymore.
They're mad about Thor: Love and Thunder.
He doesn't like the Disney leash.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like she said, Spielberg's great. He's a very competent modern director. He's probably one of the more competent modern directors I've seen. He's really good at taking fantasy stuff and pulling the whimsy out of it in just such a way that I'll tolerate it and not, be pushed over too far with it, because I'm not too big on things being too whimsical. He's good at, the more historic stuff. He's good at taking the historic stuff and injecting modern comedy and elements into it.
Bringing in the Taika.
Well, those historic feelings in there. You know what I mean? Like, what's that one that you like, Rachel? Flags of Our... Was it Flags of Our...
Oh, Flags of Our... They got canceled, right? Wasn't it?
It did get canceled, which is why I'm sad. And then also he did What We Do in the Shadows, which is
that's a
having
great
its final season soon.
That's one of my favorite shows. So
yeah,
I'm a fan of that one.
Shout out to Harvey, friend of the show.
So I mean, I'm super here for this.
It's great when we actually have one that everybody kind of wants to see here, because it doesn't usually happen. Normally everyone's like, I don't want to see this. What are we doing? Why are we making this?
I mean, when's the last time? I mean, when I was growing up in the 90s, they shit out like Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer stuff like mad. Like you said, like there was the one with Elijah Wood, and then
Mark Twain
there was the JTG
hard in the 90s.
Oh yeah, growing up in the 90s, like you had Mark Twain down your throat all day. So like, especially with kid stuff for some reason, like they wrapped kid stuff around Mark Twain like all day. So, like I guess I grew up with that, and I don't want to say I have a nostalgia for it, but I don't know. I always it worked for me. I was a big fan of Road to Avonlea as well, which is a Canadian show, which is set in like... That
sounds Canadian.
Yeah, it's Canadian as fuck, but it's similar to it's related to Anne of Green Gables, which is I don't know.
Also Canadian.
It's Canadian, but I know it's like hugely known around the world.
Also Canadian.
Yeah, but so like I grew up with a lot of that.
The prairie.
They give a lot of that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like kind of like Little House on the Prairie, but like Canadian. So I grew up with a lot of that kind of stuff, and I don't know. I just kind of I'll gravitate a little bit to that era. And I feel like Tom Sawyer comes from that era, and I don't know.
Tom Sawyer's also getting a movie. I don't know if Tom Sawyer's also getting a movie. He might be. I mean, I feel like they're kind of renaissancing everything.
It's been a good 20 years since we've had anything with Tom Sawyer or Huck Finn, though. I think it's time.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
If you were doing a straight adaptation, would anyone care? Because again, I only care because they're doing an adaptation of the story of a side character. They're taking a character and telling it from his point of view. I don't give a fuck about Huckleberry Finn.
I mean, I don't care about a lot. I don't care about Hamlet. I don't care about Romeo and Juliet. I don't care about anything from Shakespeare. We do
it all the time.
I'd rather see some Mark Twain than some damn Shakespeare all day, so I'll take that.
I still like the DiCaprio one. It was so
American
good.
Literature.
Great American writer, Mark Twain.
Yeah, you know what? You know what I want to see? I want to see a movie based on what's his name, Paul Bunyan and the Blue Ox.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I've said for years that we should make movies based on
American folklore.
That's smart. I think that's interesting too. It's different. I saw the comment about Tom and Huck as adults. It could be like Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell. They could do like a comedy version. You know, I'd be down for that. I mean, come on, bring it on. I think that'd be great. Make it a comedy and just have some fun with it. Like, why not? Why not? I don't know. I
think if you're going to do American folklore, there's a lot of stories that are untold. We don't have to do white European American folklore. We can go to Native folklore. We can go to Black folklore. We can go to all these different regions and types of folklore. There's a lot of really rich storytelling to be mined there. We don't need to keep telling the same stories.
What's the African American gentleman who has the hammer? I'd love to see a movie about him. Was it Paul Henry? I think it is.
Oh, I don't remember Paul Henry.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a great movie. I'd watch that. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to watch movies like based around.
Disney did a cartoon about him.
They did all the old. They did a whole bunch of cartoons based on like the Johnny Appleseed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Johnny.
Which once again, I'm like
2012 they did the John Henry one.
If Disney wants to impress me, make live action versions of like the American Legends stories. Like I said, Paul Bunyan and his Babe the Blue Ox, the giant, like the stories of them wrestling, and then that's how the lakes were formed, and them like, you know, those weird American like stories. Those are interesting. They're fun. They're cute. Like I'm like, you have your own cute legends. Like tell them. I'm like, they're not all racist and creepy. Like some of them are kind of fun and cute. I'm like. You know?
Yeah. We had these comments. I think you missed this for Alexi, though, too, for a second. We were talking about, you know, an adult version of Huck, of Tom and Huck. And I would say it could be like Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd. But I think maybe it was This Is 40. That was actually what it was. This Is 40 was the adult versions of them.
Blazing Saddles, wouldn't it? It's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think they grow up to be good people. They weren't good.
Yeah, probably
kids.
not. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They tried
They probably
their best.
grow up to fight for the South in the Civil War, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that I'm not surprised this is happening, though, but I do like that there is a spin on it. And I do think if we're going to do it, let's find a way to make it relevant and also make a way to make the story come through in a good light. And there was a lot of bad stuff in that original. And I barely remember when I was a kid reading it. I know Queen was saying she did a lot of book reports on it, but I think that was a big text for a lot of people back then. I don't know if it's actually still like out there in schools. I don't know if we actually discuss this anymore. Is this a novel that anyone actually reads anymore?
It's a frequently banned book.
Yeah, it's probably banned. So it's interesting that we're gonna like delve into that again. But maybe there's a way to like reinvent it, like we're saying, to make it relevant to society again and bring something better and a story that's, you know, not so out there for people that people can all be comfortable with it. I don't know, but it's gonna happen. It's moving forward. Will it be good? Will it not be good? I don't know. We'll wait and find out. They're making it, and I think that Taika Waititi is going to be a great person behind it. So he's negotiating. I hope he does sign on for it, and I hope it does work out.
Yo, player, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we are live. And if you are able to join our Patreon, please join. Because the Pepestar needs more snickety snacks. Because I'm hungry. Holla back. Love y'all.